me it gets better. Say that it gets better. O.P.S. I'm gay-ish.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that's here to tell you, friends don't let friends dry hump.
Why not?
What's the point? You can wet hump.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today,
We're going to talk about virginity.
we're going to talk about virginity.
I mean, I assume we're going to talk about losing it.
I mean, I prepared all of my remarks based on states whose capitals are Richmond. So,
How long is your list?
yeah, one thing.
Well, long enough.
Richmond is the capital of Virginia. End of segment.
It gets the job done.
But first, news stuff.
Oh, wait. Should we mention we're going to have some
yeah.
guests on to help us talk about virginity? He Said podcast. Ray and Jay.
Ray and Jay. I'm pretty sure they're not virgins because I'm pretty sure they fuck each other.
For sure. At least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Now news.
What do you mean at least?
I mean, they might have fucked other people too.
Oh. Okay. And they might presently be.
They might presently. We didn't really go into. We had drinks with them.
I hope they don't try to fuck anybody here.
Well, I don't want to necessarily fuck them right here on the table, but I would be offended if they didn't ask.
Oh, no.
It's only polite. We're hosting.
I love how crazy you are. It makes me so happy.
It's like, oh, you're just going to come hang out and be on my podcast and not ask to fuck me?
Drink our alcohol and not
Jesus,
put out.
have some manners. No. No one's putting out. I just want them to want to.
Right. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
It's just common gay courtesy.
I get you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, on the heels of Halloween, I noticed this story and I thought it was really interesting, especially because some of the stuff we talked about on our Ghosts episode way back in the day.
Yeah.
Big Fatty calls Halloween gay Christmas.
Yeah,
Gay Crima.
Yeah, a lot of people say Halloween is gay Christmas because it's when we get to like do whatever the fuck we want, and as according to 30 Rock, gay Halloween parties are the best parties.
Fucking Dan Garlington has a new tattoo that says every day is Halloween.
That's hilarious.
So does that mean every day is Christmas for
Every
him?
day is, but like in a gay way, which is the only way that he operates.
He's pretty gay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, back to this.
And he's sitting on someone's lap. Okay. Eating those cookies.
12
Drinking their milk. Sorry. Whose chimney? Okay.
On Dasher, on Prancer, on me, in me.
Okay. I swear I'm done.
Okay. 12,317 responses were given to Autostradle's Lesbian Stereotypes Survey, and they asked LGBT plus women and non-binary respondents, have you ever seen or been in the presence of a ghost? 25% said yes.
Wow.
Compared to the 18% of the general population. So apparently, ghosts love the ladies.
And basically the
Queer
queer
ladies.
non-men.
Right, queer non-men. Mm-hmm.
Queer non-cis men.
Right.
Wow, 25%. That's almost a quarter.
Almost.
That's very close. I wonder if they're just more like open to those kind of experiences, or
One of the theories is that they're just stupid and they thought that they were being asked, have you ever been ghosted?
is that your theory?
No, that's in
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did a man write this? That's the most misogynistic way to explain women's experience.
The author's name, I don't know their pronouns, Josh Jackman, which is a made-up name for a gay reporter.
Mike,
yes.
How do we always get the gayest fucking names? Jackman?
I didn't even plan that.
I know. No, we don't. We really don't plan these names. They just, the gayest names show up. I don't know this person's gender pronouns either.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Well, that sounds a very much misogynistic explanation of why they experience that. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Maybe ghosts are just feel more comfortable around them. Probably most of the ghosts are caused by fucking men, like between war and murder and
fucking men.
There's a lot of damage they do.
Yeah. Well, 56% of queer women and non-binary people said they had never been visited by spectral form, compared to 80% of all Americans. So,
have you ever seen or been visited by a ghost?
Just the ghosts of marriages past. No.
Me either. Well, I mean, they're also...
Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. In my fraternity house one time, I was like alone. late at night. It was Christmas time, so nobody else was there, but I had a job.
Gay Christmas or regular Christmas?
Regular Christmas. Okay. Fraternity Christmas.
Okay. Oh, that's like initiation day, right? When you get like beat each other with whips and naked?
Of course.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so...
You were alone?
Yeah, totally alone, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of the lights and the stereo came on in the room across the hall from me. Mm-hmm. Nobody was there. No idea what happened. It freaked me the fuck out, so I just... didn't shower or anything. I just threw clothes on, went down to my car, and went to work because it was terrifying.
Is it possible that like that room ran out of power or like got a power surge and then everything had actually already been on and then they just came back?
Entirely possible, Kyle. Except the power was on the day before because it was my brother's room, and I went in there and I turned the lights on and they came on, and then I turned the lights off and they went off.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes changes in like the
fuck you, Kyle. I saw a ghost.
I didn't
see a ghost.
Ghosts aren't real, so that's why I question.
Okay, great. You just called 25% of female and non-binary queer people dumb.
See, okay, I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying I'm right.
Great. Great. Moving on. Mm-hmm. So in at the Super Skate in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Great. Already excited.
Yep. There was a boys only session of roller skating, and
oh wait, sorry. Am I like kids or like adults?
Kids.
Oh no. Okay, I take back my scrumptious noise that I made.
Oh, okay. Well, 2 12-year-old trans boys were kicked out.
Oh.
The skating rink, the DJ apparently asked them to leave and told them, quote, "This is not a social experiment." And then the boys' parents tried to confront the owner. They were all told to leave. Quote, this is the mother, I think. Yeah, quote, "Discriminated and shown hate at just 12 years old for daring to be who they want to be, for living the life they feel is most fulfilling. I am informing my entire community to avoid and protest this bigoted place. Blatant hate and discrimination will not be tolerated against any transgender person, and most certainly not against children."
Yeah, fuck you. Good call, Mom.
Yep.
Yeah, kids are not running around trying to do social experiments. They're like just trying to worry about if they have a friend the next day to sit with at lunch, and like if they're going to pass a test or get it onto the soccer
They just want to fucking roller skate and hopefully not fall down.
Yeah, and not embarrass themselves in front of their classmates. Like, this isn't a social experiment because we already know based on science and evidence that they are boys. Like, there's no experimenting being done here.
Yeah.
We're just doing the truth. And
well, and the next time you have a boys only session, are you going to check all the dicks at the door?
I know, yeah, exactly.
Going to look at little baby teen dicks before they're allowed to get roller skates?
Yep.
Did you know
what?
Your genitals directly affect your ability to skate?
Yeah, I skate with my dick and my anus. It's very awkward for everyone watching.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Did you tell me about this? You don't know what I'm about to say, so you can't answer that question quite yet.
Yes, I did. I told you.
That's probably true. In a classroom, the teacher was like, if you feel like you're more a boy, stand on this side. If you feel you're more a girl, stand on that side. And if you don't know, you think you're somewhere in between, not sure, stand around the middle or go like a little bit closer to what you feel more like. Just basically go where you want to. And then the kid, this is my hairdresser.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was like, her daughter then came home and was like, "Mom, I've never thought about if I really was a girl and I wasn't sure. So I went into the middle." And her mom was like, "Okay, that's cool."
Yeah.
And like, Fuckers. Nice sentiment ruined by cursing.
Last but not least, Ariana Grande, who I've started to love.
Yeah, I know, right?
I fought it hard for a long time.
But she's, okay, I know there are some battles where I'm like, fine. I quit.
I acquiesce.
Yep, I can't.
You've beaten me down.
in the bad way. And not the good bad way, just the bad. And Ariana Grande is a talented person. Her acting is incredible. Her voice is amazing, like Christina Aguilera style, incredible.
Mm-hmm. Well, she also has a gay brother.
Oh.
Frankie.
I didn't know that.
Frankie Grande? Really?
Frankie Grande?
That's his name. Frankie Grande.
I guess that would make sense.
Singer, actor, TV personality, Frankie Grande. And she like totally defends him all the time, and he totally defends her like all the time, and they're adorable. And he's super, super gay. Anyway, last week he appeared at 2 Halloween parties with Dr. Mike Pofus and lawyer Daniel Sinisone and said, quote, "These are my boyfriends. We've been dating for almost 3 months, but in the gay world, it's like 5 years." But he's in a pansexual relationship now, which, to my knowledge, is the most famous person in a polyamorous relationship. I said pansexual. I meant polyamorous.
Gotcha.
Polyamorous relationship. Like, talk about high profile.
Yeah.
And he's doing it.
Nice.
And they're kind of adorable.
How old are all of they?
Let's see. They are in their mid to late hotties.
Oh, I just a few years ago left my late hotties. I'm embracing my like mid sweatpantses. Well, he's a doctor, so he had to go to medical school, I hope. Unless his like first name is just doctor.
Right.
Do you think he's a really doctor?
I don't know.
Was it DR period?
What's his? Yes.
Okay, then he's probably some kind of actual doctor. So he has to be like, I don't know, how old are doctors when they leave the doctoring studies program?
I mean,
Like their late 20s?
Post-twink, pre-daddy, I'm going to guess.
See, just for some reason, when you said her brother, I imagined like an 8-year-old boy. You know, for some reason, brothers are all like little tiny children. And then you said he showed up with a doctor, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to go well.
Well, so in a recent interview with Billboard, Frankie said, quote, "Ariana and I are 10 years apart. And she grew up with a really gay brother who just loves her unconditionally, and it's reciprocated. When I came out to her, she was 11, and I was like, I have to tell you something. She was like, what? I said, I'm gay. And she was like, okay, cool. Do you have a boyfriend? Great. Do I get to meet him? It didn't faze her at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Anyway, yeah. So this I guess it's not a throuple because the other 2 dudes are married to each other, but it's polyamorous. He's dating 2 guys that are married to each other.
I think that might mean a throuple. I don't know the throuple rules. That's going to be an entirely separate episode.
Yeah, we're going to have a whole episode about that for sure.
Should we talk about virginity?
Let's talk about virginity.
Do we have anything to say before we get our guests here?
Let's see. I am interested in talking to them because, first of all, they're not only are they married, and I think they've been married for a while.
They've at least been together for a very long time.
Yeah. So just another perspective on like what do they think virginity is, and when did they lose it?
Yeah.
And
when we started talking about that, like possible episode ideas over drinks, which is how we do our business, like what I realized is like, I have never heard anyone define or even ask the question, what is virginity to gay men? And so usually when we do our like personal episodes or like some more difficult topics, which I think this one is, we just do them, you and I. But I think this is, I'm really excited to have them come in and help us talk about virginity because, you know, instead of just us, I really like the idea of having 4 different perspectives on this topic that I've never heard anyone talk about. So
yeah.
We are incredible pioneers is what I'm saying.
So when we get back, we will have the boys from He Said with us.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is
the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
I love it.
We're here
With these guys.
With the folks from the podcast He Said, Ray and Jay.
What's up?
Hello.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
We like being special guests.
Yeah, it gives us a chance to talk about things that we typically wouldn't talk about on our podcast.
Yeah,
but hey,
that's kind of true.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your show. What do you cover? What's your format?
So it is a lot of, I guess, for lack of a better term, hot topics. So we talk a lot of celebrities.
So you're a goth teenager?
Yes.
We do a lot of celebrity talk, and
He didn't say no.
I mean, I don't like boxes, guys.
Yeah.
No labels.
No.
But we do that, and then there's some politics that gets weaved in, just because that really is a hot topic right now. We do music, and then we try to end with like a quote that's inspirational. Mm-hmm. A happy ending is what we call it.
Yeah, a happy ending.
And you're also married, right?
Yes.
How long have you
To
been
each other?
to each other? Yes.
How long have you been together and married?
We've been together for 12 years. It'll be 12 years in January.
Yeah,
and married, it will be
2 years.
2 years in March.
Do you know anyone else that's been together for 12 years or longer?
Gay couple?
Gay,
No.
yeah.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
That's what I thought.
I mean, what did we say? Someone had said that it's like dog years. So every gay year is like 7 years.
I don't know if it's 7, but it's definitely more than 1.
So we had I think we said we were together 86 years or something. So we've been together a very long time.
We're octogenarians for real. Like
and when you
under
listen,
our masks.
And when you listen to our podcast, you can tell there definitely is this long history of knowing each other, because bitch is the word that we use. Like, it's basically like punctuation.
That's true.
So if we say it this time during your podcast, you know that we're comfortable.
Yeah,
That's very true.
Well, you don't look a day over 75.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about virginity. And Mike, do you want to start us off?
Well, okay, it's a softball. I just wanted to go around real quick.
Is that
what?
Is that a sex thing that you lost? Is that when you lose your virginity to a lesbian?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good job.
How's that?
Well done. What does virginity mean? Like, just straight out of the gate, when you hear that word, what does that mean to you?
Should I start?
Yes.
So
You go
this
first, Ray.
is Ray. For me, because I've been thinking about it in the past week or so, I think that virginity is probably, like, my definition would be a lot less rigid than the actual definition, which I think has to do with sexual intercourse. So I say anyone who has been engaged in sexual activity before, for me, I would say that you're not a virgin.
What's the line? Like, then what counts it? Like, is it making out? Is it
No, I would say you'd have
touching
to be,
nuts?
yeah, you'd
Touching nuts.
No, you'd have to be beyond like what most of us would consider to be foreplay, even
So, like,
though
when you're talking about the bases, what base are you on?
see, I'm not good with the bases. Is third base where you're filling people up?
I mean, I feel like the
think
bases are very heterosexual.
That's true.
I
Because it's-
hate football, so
Okay, wait. I know this one. It's 4 Fs. Oh no.
Right.
finger them, fuck them, forget
Not
them.
that- not-
have it out, whatever.
Not those.
Not those Fs. It's like French feel finger fuck. And thank you.
So then I think
Got
that
it.
I would be at a swift third base. Anything beyond third base, I probably would consider to be, you're not a virgin anymore.
Because for us, like, fingering feels very heterosexual.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I mean, even though you can, like, finger, I don't know. I don't use that word too much. Yeah, but I would say
Yes,
third base of, like,
yes.
Yeah.
a jerk off, a hand jerk off.
Yes.
And I guess it's
Yes.
different when you apply those base concept to a cisgendered, heterosexual couple. It's easy to understand that, but when you apply it to the gay, like especially the gay men experience in the room, it's like, okay, well, what point?
Right.
Because to your point, you can finger, but like, would you consider that breaking your virginity? Or
Yes. If someone has their finger in your ass, then I would say you are no longer a
well,
virgin.
So, for my own personal definition, I've been flirting with the idea of saying that sex is any physical act that could lead to an orgasm.
That's a good way to think about it.
So, like making
that.
out, unless you can have like a tongue-gasm, like that's probably
some
not.
people can orgasm without being touched,
Right.
Like just through kissing, they're like, I guess the thought of it.
Okay, if your definition is anything that could lead to an orgasm, then, like, I watch Johnny Bravo, and, like, that's sex for me.
By itself?
No, it's leading there. I'm
No,
like,
no, it's not the leading there. It's that whatever's physically happening is enough to get you there. So, like if a finger in your ass because your prostate's there,
Yeah.
if you're a dude,
Yeah.
if that kind of stimulation could lead you to an orgasm, then that counts.
Okay.
Right.
But I think like
great,
if-
yeah.
if-
So watching Johnny Bravo.
yeah,
Confirmed.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, no, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I do feel like it's weird. Growing up, virginity is kind of like thrown on you as this concept of having intercourse, right?
Exactly.
And that it is between a man and a woman, and losing your virginity that's when you, like, you're told that when you have intercourse with a woman as a man, or the other way around. Sorry, I'm trying to follow my thought. Like, that's like it's impressed upon you that that's virginity, and that's when you have to break when you're not a virgin anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the act of intercourse where everything leading up, we're everything but. I'm like, we did everything but, like, that's like this the way of thought. So that was always my thought. Like, technically, if you have never had intercourse with a woman, you're still a virgin in some people's minds.
Yeah, and I mean, to that, I think most people, and especially straight people, like, when you think about virginity for heterosexual people, it's the woman loses her virginity
Right.
and the man takes her virginity.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
this tangible thing.
Yeah, and I think virginity is like often applied to women. Like
Yes.
they're supposed to be the saints, and then the second their hymen goes kabooey, like then
Right.
they're not virgins. Like men, like all we can do is stick it all the way in the vagina. Like we're not losing anything. And I mean,
In a way,
they're
it's
not,
almost like the men's gaining something.
which is like fucked up power dynamics
Yeah.
that straight people have. So
Totally. And
But
I think that the
being
origin.
a bottom is definitely still a struggle.
that's true.
No, it is, but I think that the origin of the term itself really has been traditionally applied to women,
Yes.
and as a way to kind of categorize women. Because it's like, oh, if you're a virgin, to a straight guy, then it's like, oh, she's, you know what I mean? She's
Yeah,
a virgin. So I think that now, in 2018, obviously it has a much broader meaning, but I think that traditionally that has been like a tool that the patriarchy has used.
Yeah. Well, so if Jesus was born to the Virgin Mary,
Right.
Yeah.
they're basically saying that all other women are sluts.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Right.
Exactly.
It's always
And
Jesus. It
also,
always
like,
comes back to
no,
Jesus.
she didn't. Like,
There's also that.
I mean,
So with that, then, when did you lose your virginity? Whatever that means to you.
and go into as much detail as you care to. Wait, that wasn't supposed to sound. I mean, say what's comfortable.
I would say I'm a golden gay. So if you don't know what a golden gay is,
I had never heard that term before.
You can Urban Dictionary it, but I've never had any sort of sexual contact or intercourse or with a woman other than at senior week when it was a joke. We kissed. It was oh my God, watch us kiss. LOL. So that was the only, I guess you could say, interaction I had with sexually. It wasn't even sexual. It was a game, if you will. But if you use that lens, I'm technically still a virgin, but I did not have any sort of intercourse or foreplay or whatever with a man until college. So I was 17, 18, where I'd actually had penetration and became non-virgin like, if you will.
You're not committing to non-virgin, just non-virgin life.
Yes, it was the art of learning what I was doing
my
and
God.
understanding what it meant to not be a virgin as a gay man, and learning those positions and learning how to process what was happening, because like I said earlier, being a bottom is a struggle. That first time you're like, fuck, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why
First
am I
50 times.
Well, I think, and I say that a friend of our friends makes fun of me. I'm like, it's muscle memory. It really is. It really is. And I say that because your first time, if the person that you're having intercourse with as a bottom, if they're not thoughtful of what they're doing and mindful that it's your first time, you're always going to have this thought of the pain.
Yeah.
But if their first time, it's definitely more intimate and it's more sensual and the other person is respectful that it is your first time, then the memory will be met that it was not painful as it could have been.
Which is why I think everyone needs to play with their own ass before they get into something.
I
Get a
say that
candy
all the time.
cane, get a small flashlight,
Oh
just
my God. A small flashlight.
just
A carrot.
a carrot, a baby carrot.
No,
if you
stick
need-
away from the food. Stay away from food.
I mean, don't eat it.
May I recommend an English cucumber?
You
No,
like
I
the
don't
accent?
recommend that.
What's an English
I
cucumber?
don't know. It's a cucumber, but it's English.
But
Does that mean it's bigger?
I think
bigger
they're,
and uncut.
they're
Aren't they longer and
longer
thin?
and thinner.
Yeah.
Oh. No, that's probably good advice then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know that bottom struggle. I have to, full disclosure.
Yeah, it's a
I've
struggle.
heard stories. Okay. So beyond hearing stories, I won't say that I have not tried to live that life. It was just not for me.
So, have you gotten fucked in the ass?
I mean, we've tried to get to that point, and it was kind of like abort.
Yeah.
It was that type of mission.
Sorry.
So
Whenever I shit my
Abort.
boyfriend's sperm in the toilet, we always
my
say
God, I
I'm going
love
to go
that.
have an abortion.
Yeah, go have that's amazing.
Sorry, that's inappropriate.
But I mean, no, we are not judging you. This is a no judgment
Oh.
zone.
This is no judgment.
Thank
So
you.
then, Ray, when did you lose your virginity?
So I'm not going to give an age, even though I probably should, because one of the notes that I made was that there is multiple age-related stigma associated with virginity.
Well, at least 20 people are going to hear this.
At least 20. 22.
So we'll just say that I was,
give a range.
yeah, I was
Between the age of 10?
I was a tween. which means I wasn't a teenager yet. So that's as far as I'll go with giving an actual age. But I was a tween, and it was with my best friend's at the time, his sister.
Okay.
Because we were going together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty young. I would say I was too young in hindsight. But as far as gay sexual activity, I didn't lose because I didn't come out officially until I was 22. And I'd say that I think that the first experience that I had with another man was a couple of years after that. So maybe 24.
That's so old.
I know, isn't it? We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting, like, you kind of have two different moments, you did have two different moments that you're saying is losing your virginity.
Right, yeah.
Double non-virgin.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, so what does that mean for a gay man who, was in the closet and who had relationships with women before coming out of the closet? I would say that the way we should be looking at it is that I lost my virginity as a tween, because that's when I actually lost my virginity. But then I feel like you do need to just say, okay, but then the first time I ever was actually with another man was a completely different time in my life.
A different experience.
Right. But it wasn't really losing my virginity, but it was a different experience for sure.
I have something similar, but in a little bit different way. So I've never had sex with a woman, but I feel like I have 2 points. Like one, and they're the same year when I was 20 in college. I had sex I topped first. Did real bad at it. I was in the middle of it, and I was like,
This isn't.
are we doing it? Or do you,
What's happening?
Is it, this is it? And then next I bottomed for the first time, and like that is way more scary because like you can be bad at topping and you're still gonna like at least get to come and then ass,
yeah.
like, which, how bad can that be?
Yeah.
But it's such a bigger moment is getting a dick in your ass. So I think they're both forms of losing my virginity
Absolutely.
in different ways. And I
Because
think
there's preparation of being a bottom that you don't have to do as a top, and for women, the same that you don't have to do as a man.
Mental
because-
and physical
Yeah,
preparation.
because it's like, there's things like you can't eat, or things that you shouldn't eat, or that there's showers that should be had, and times a day you shouldn't do it. That like as a man and as a top, like you don't always have to think about that. You can just
Are
whip
you
it
trying
out.
to single me out?
No, I'm just saying in general.
I feel attacked right now.
That's your top guilt. That is your top guilt.
I mean, I've tried.
top guilt.
Yeah, it's like white guilt, but it's top guilt.
Usually that's the same thing, but when you're gay, it can be different.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
Mike, what would you say?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You knew at some point.
Yeah, at some point you asked it. It was coming back.
Well, so if Jay's golden gay, then Ray and I are lead gays.
Yes, yes.
Like, some other table of elements entry. So hold on. Yeah,
there you go.
Okay. So if I break it down to like when did I feel like I had lost my virginity, despite the fact that I had had oral encounters with women before, it was when I first penetrated a vagina with my penis, which was my ex-wife. I lost my virginity at 23.
Oh my gosh.
To your wife.
That's so precious.
That would be
To your
romantic if
wife.
the rest of the years didn't happen.
Or 22 or 23, in that zone. Yeah, but then I think we've sort of touched on this. Then when I started hooking up with dudes, there definitely was the first time I topped, like that registered as a thing. And the first time I bottomed, that registered as a thing.
Right.
So I suppose you could also consider those, which both happened when I came out at 30.
Wow.
I feel like, we talk about when you come out, there's no like one big coming out moment. It keeps happening and it happens to like along the way and over time. I think there's no real losing your virginity. You have different periods where you lose different forms of virginity, and it's not as easy as like one experience.
Why do you feel like, here's a question to the group, is I think for a lot of people, myself included, like losing your virginity or having your first experience, you become very emotionally attached to that person. And I don't know, I think it crosses all the community, not just straight gay. I think it's anyone. There's this connection you have with them for whatever reason. And why do we think that is? Is it a human thing? Like, is it just that the idea of like, that's my the first and I should always be in love or connected with? Or is it society pushing it on us that that person is who we should love and be married to, because that's the idea of the religion, where like you don't have sex until you get married, and that's like impressed upon you. So I'm just food for thought.
Okay. This is not the question you were asking, but
I'm sure it's probably close. It
close.
triggered you.
It triggered me. Yeah. I was out to myself as gay from early teens. Like I knew, and I always approached it from this perspective of I have this under control. I'm going to force myself to be straight. I don't want to be gay. I got this. So I thought that when you lost your virginity that there was going to be this crazy chemical, like your biology would change for this person, because I think that that's what we've been shown in media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wasn't ready to have sex with her, with my now ex-wife. But I forced myself to, thinking that biological chemical change would happen to me, and I would suddenly have this deep attraction to her. Like it was going to help me not be gay to lose my virginity to her.
That's interesting.
And so then when we actually fucked afterwards, I was like, nope, I'm the same.
I was about to say, I hear a butt coming on. No, I think that doesn't necessarily happen for everyone, that they have this, bond or connection to the person that they, the first person that they're with. So I think that it's different for different people, because I didn't have that.
Bitch, I had it bad. Did I do? Did I feel?
Bitch, me too.
Did I do good at?
Yeah,
I don't say that ever.
It's so good. It came off really.
It really
like
did.
it could be like your new way of life.
I'm an actor. Thank you. No, I for me did have that experience, and
Yeah, so did I.
I think the reason it is because I had never, I thought I did love him. He was the first person I loved. And to not only have someone you love that also makes you orgasm for the having someone else making you orgasm.
Not the TV. Or,
Not not
or
Johnny
at that
Bravo.
point, or at that point, what was it? The internet.
Yeah. I had never felt that, like, both love and coming in someone, those two things are like, oh my God, then you're it. This is it. This is the best I've ever felt. So I must be in love with you. And now the reason that feels like I was so crazy attached is because I just had never had that feeling, and I had nothing to compare it to. So then when you have more feelings like that, you're like, oh, actually that person wasn't that great. It was just like, it's actually pretty much a dick to me.
Yeah.
But like
the things I put up with because he was my first, and then to your point, I fell in love with him. It was, hindsight, it was the stupidest thing I ever could have done. It was just sex, and I was obsessed with the idea of having a boyfriend, because when I came out when I was 13, right? And when I came out, I was the only out person all of my high school career. Like I was attracted to guys, but I'd never had the opportunity to like explore it until college. So then I had this experience with a guy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's perfect. I want to be with him. We were together. And then I put the shit I put up with was this idea of like trying to catch up with everyone else around me, because I felt like they were exposed and experienced things that I didn't.
all straight people, I'm assuming.
So it was like, and I didn't have a lot of gay friends. I didn't have any gay friends growing up until college, when I went to an art school, and it was like, if you weren't gay,
What are you doing here?
And it was a fashion school. Like we had like other segments of art, but most of my friends were in fashion. So most of them were gay. So I was like, shit, you had a boyfriend for 5 years or 3 years or 2 years. I'm just 2 months in, and I'm like, I need to catch up.
I think I'm going to tell you a little bit of data about
Oh, I
this.
love data.
Yeah.
Well, great.
It's my favorite.
This is for you then.
Kyle has taken over the role of boring us with facts and
Here we
on
go.
the podcast, which is weird because in real life you'd expect me to be the one that did that.
Very true. Okay, get ready. A study by Dr. Ed.
Oh, Edward.
I immediately thought of the horse when I
I
read
did too.
that.
I was like, is his brother Mr. Ed?
Yeah, I was so confused
I
by
didn't
that.
find that it's not the horse, so I don't know.
That's
Just Dr. Ed. It was a study of 500 Europeans and 500 Americans, asked people of all different orientations and gender, when two things. When was your first sexual awakening? So when did you first, like, I see a thing that's like, oh, like sex, and I'm interested in that. And which I think is part of, we haven't said those words, but I think we've been talking about those sexual awakenings. Like, I knew I was gay. I was out to myself. Like, you probably and some kind of sexual awakening happened that you knew that and then ignored it or whatever.
Mario Lopez on Saved by the Bell.
Oh, that's
I was gonna ask, was it really?
That's so funny.
Probably.
Mine was a track guy named Cameron that I ran with.
Oh, in real life?
Oh, yeah. Cameron, I still think about him today.
It's interesting because I'm sitting here thinking about when I had that awakening. I don't.
Was it like porn maybe, or
honestly, this is gonna really
wrestling?
sound really ridiculous, but I don't think I always knew, but I didn't recognize it until like 12, where I was like, okay, that growing up when I was like 4.5, I had this neighborhood friend, and I like everything he liked, I liked, but I didn't. In hindsight, like I'm like, it's because I liked him. I wanted to do baseball because I wanted to watch Green Bay Packers, which I don't know. That's funny.
Oh my God.
In hindsight, that's also funny.
Yeah.
Because he watched it, and in hindsight, I'm like, wow, like that was actually my first crush.
Yeah.
Where before that though, like I'm sitting here thinking like I don't think I ever had that like aha, like I'm gay. It was more like, what is this feeling?
But 12 was when you're like, oh, now I can identify.
Like now I'm
this
like,
as-
okay, like it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like I get it now. I see it's more than just this feeling. Like it's truly who I am. And then therapy helped, obviously, talking to someone.
So I'd say like 12 might be your sexual awakening because like being able to put a name to it.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
So, did you want to share?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. So,
I'm still waiting for the data.
Yeah, I love
okay.
data.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Dr. Ed, he just
Dr.
awakened all these thoughts.
So awakened. There's the sexual awakening, and then when they lost virginity. So I'm not going to define it. I actually looked up. I don't know. I think they just ask people, when did you lose your virginity? So that's in your mind.
Right.
When did you lose your virginity? So
Your version of.
on average, it was 15 years old for your sexual awakening and 17 years old for losing your virginity.
Wait, they are lying.
They for sure. They knew their mom was going to read that.
Well, okay, but this is a study of like there are old people in there too.
Right. There's a wide age range.
Got it.
So when you're Gen Z, it's
Right.
much earlier. I think it's like 14 or something.
Jeez.
What, puberty?
No, sexual
Gen Z.
awakening.
Sexual awakening.
So beyond the millennial.
15
the
feels
new
super
kids.
old though.
Yeah.
To me, especially, and I don't, was
I mean,
was
that's
the
how
study
your
this year?
balls dropped. Like,
Yes, this year.
Because it's like with the internet and social media, I feel like kids are probably having a sexual awakening much sooner
Oh.
than it happened for the rest of us. I mean, I'm just assuming just because it's there and it's so much more easily accessed than it was for I mean, at least for me.
Yeah.
I think I might be the oldest person in the room, but
I don't think.
No.
In 10 days, I'm turning 40.
oh, I'll be 40 next year. Okay. So no. So yeah, it's like it was different for us, like Skinamax, and you know what I mean?
Oh, I
like there
remember
were these
Skinamax.
you know what I mean? There were these
Sears
places where
catalog?
you could find things. but
Sears
it's like-
catalog.
Or late night fitness infomercials.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Bowflex.
The Bowflex, the Bowflex.
No, man. Mine was AOL chat rooms, but okay.
So then starting to break it down a little bit, for gay people though, the sexual awakening was just under 14. And they're losing their virginity, they said, about 18. So it's their sexual awakening is earlier and their virginity, losing their virginity, is later than straight people, which kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah,
like,
it
does.
Yeah.
And then bisexual people, it was 15 and a half, so just a little bit older than the average. And then losing virginity was just over 16. So they have 2 years earlier losing their virginity than
That's interesting.
Gay
That is
people.
interesting.
Mike. I thought you might like this one. The one group,
You know what I want from data.
the one group whose sexual awakening occurs after losing their virginity is Republicans.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Republicans,
Really,
How's that?
Wait, let's break
everyone
this
has
down.
the same question.
Wait.
Let me tell you the numbers and then we'll,
Okay.
yeah.
And it does it have a list of who was interviewed?
Yes.
'Cause that'd be good for Tuesday.
Yes, I'll post that. Losing her virginity, it was at the age of 17.4. Their sexual awakening was at 18.4. So a year after losing their virginity. Go now. Explain both of your faces because it's thinking the same thing I am.
Ray, you go first.
I mean, so that's really confusing to me on its face. But then, I mean, what I have to think about that is that, I mean, who are we talking about? Are we talking about like people who maybe think they're straight, but then they have a gay experience a year later? Because like that's what I'm thinking. Like
you go to college and your roommate is like, let's play.
Or is it just that you're doing it just to do it the first time, and then later you're having some type of.
But how are you not awake when you come? Like you didn't wake up, like you.
Jay, it's not a literal awakening.
But like there has to be some. Like I feel like the first time you orgasm, like at some point you have to be.
Aren't you be like, I kind of like
this is like I'm awake. Like I want more of that.
I am so confused by that. We need. I don't know if any of you are Republicans, but we need a Republican to.
We need Dr. Ed.
Dr. Ed. We can't assume.
We can't. That's why I said I don't know.
Yeah,
but
bring your brother, Mister, with you, and we're gonna have a chat.
Okay, so I was thinking like maybe they're lying. And like,
Do you want some wine?
Oh yes, I'll
yeah,
have some.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to fend for yourselves because.
that's gonna.
No, I was like so into this conversation. I'm just like,
I know, I was lost in the sauce when you said 18 after you had an orgasm and now you're awake.
I think
that was you had sex with the wrong person if you were not awake. There's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe to your point, right? They just had it to have it. Yeah, that's true.
but-
I'm here. I caught up.
Yeah, I actually think that Republicans are they're so sexually repressed that it's not. It doesn't feel right to be able to say you had a young sexual awakening. You're not allowed to have sex or talk about it or do anything.
That's a good point.
So I think they may be self-reporting data. Maybe they think like, oh, I came into my own when I was 18. That's when I became a man.
When I left home and went to college and didn't have my parents' AOL dial-up to deal with anymore, that's when I really figured it out.
So I think they might have. I think they might be like not understanding even the sexual awakening process.
okay.
So one thing that you're touching on, and I don't know, I'm in a mood today about religion apparently, but like religion teaches you sex is dirty.
Yes.
It does.
Yep.
Which totally is a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
And it causes all kinds of issues.
And guilt for
It
a lot
does.
of people.
Yeah. And religious people are Republicans. Like that's like finish the circle. It's always Jesus. It always comes down to Jesus or Allah or whoever. But
Yeah. Some sort of religion.
Right.
Yeah.
well, let's face it, Judeo-Christian religion.
Yes.
Like, but
I'm Mike. I know a bigger word for Christian.
I mean, the point. I mean, Christians don't have a monopoly on oppression.
They do
the,
not.
The Jewish religion certainly does. The Muslim religion absolutely does.
Yes,
but,
that is true.
But it always comes down to these like monotheistic religions that like totally warp people's sexualities, and it makes them do all kinds of weird shit. Like
Not understand their sexuality even after they've had sex.
you're a senator that votes against gay people's rights, and then the next
You're
day
cruising.
you're caught tapping in the bathroom at the
Yeah.
airport.
Under the stall.
Yeah. Okay, so we already talked about our catalyst for sexual awakening. That was one of the questions
Vodka.
as well.
Mine was pure
Housewives.
unbridled lust.
That's what I'm going to name the vodka I make. Pure unbridled lust.
I like it. I like
That's
it.
perfect.
I would
We can-
buy that.
We can co-brand it.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
do
we
that.
can. Okay.
It could be a moment.
Okay. So
Canned vodka, that'd be a moment.
I didn't even think that it was in a can.
Can you think about it? That's amazing.
Okay. For most people, 62% of people said their sexual awakening catalyst was an actor or actress.
Oh.
I'm just going to read you some of my
Yeah.
favorite answers. They're not
please.
a percentage.
Oh,
okay.
this is awesome. I'm ready for this.
Babysitter was a more common one.
Makes sense.
Someone said sexy dentist.
What?
Because
Great.
they're in their mouth and you're like, oh, put it in my mouth.
No.
Like the whole thought. Yeah.
Yeah, you got oral down. You know how they know how wide your mouth can go. Okay.
Give me that laughing gas is better than poppers.
Oh my God, I'm having visions of Little Shop of Horrors.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed
Feed me your dick, Seymour.
The entire time.
The cleaning lady.
Wait, what?
That sounds like
Wow.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was involved in this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't someone
his
else cheat?
housekeeper.
It was like
Jude Law.
Yeah.
Oh,
with like
yeah.
With the housekeeper?
Who's the smoking hot lady who's married to?
Oh, I remember. I don't remember.
Sienna Miller, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
How
think
do you
that's
cheat
her.
on Sienna? Okay.
I mean, there's so
It
many
happens.
questions.
Because Jude Law's gay, yo.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Cheers to that.
This is a good one. G.I. Joe.
of course.
Oh my God.
Responsible for a whole generation's bad feelings about their bodies.
Yeah.
That and He-Man.
Oh, yes, He-Man.
Last but not least, my cousin's friend in hot pants.
Hey, I had pink spandex when I was
yeah?
like 4 years old. I felt real good about myself.
I wonder if you were someone else's sexual awakening.
I'm sure. I mean,
Probably.
How would I not be?
Someone wrote in.
Yeah.
My friend in pink.
Yeah, for sure. That's me. When you look up the word virginity in the dictionary, one of the definitions or statements in the dictionary is the state of or condition of being pure, fresh, and unused. But virginity, and I think to your point, right, it goes back to this whole concept that if you lose your virginity, you now are not pure, you're not fresh, and you are used.
Right.
That sounds really aggressive.
No, it does.
I think
I'm
it's-
turned on.
Yeah,
Like, I'm pure, I'm fresh, and I might be used, but guess what? Every vintage is in.
Oh my God.
Resale.
I think that's all part of the like how we say, yeah, virginity is good, and that's what you're supposed to be when you get married, so you can hand off this pureness to your husband who
Right.
now owns you. Like,
That's so
I think it's
ridiculous.
I think it's just such a backwards way of thinking about it. And like, if you have sex, you're not new or special or different. You have a new experience that you haven't had before.
Also, I will go on record as saying,
Oh, please.
if you are married, if you're walking down the aisle with somebody you haven't fucked, you dumb.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. So that
for
was one
sure.
of the
That's
questions
another thing
I
that
had for the
I
group.
had that too.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
so let me lead. So
All right.
my question for the group
Bitch.
would be, what are your thoughts on saving yourself from marriage?
Stupid. Next person, please. No.
I mean, I just feel like, when you go shopping, right? I'm just that kind of gay. I'm going to bring it there. If you go shopping, you don't just pick up a pair of jeans and not try them on, right? You want to know.
Some people do.
But you at least try them on, and if they don't fit, you return them. So like at home or in the fitting room, you put them on, and if you put them on, you're like, fuck, they're too tight or they're not big enough. Oh, they're bell bottom and I wanted skinny. Like, you're gonna return them, right?
True.
So the concept of not having sex with someone and then committing to the rest of your life, that shit might be whack. You like, as a woman, you may never orgasm. Like, you may never orgasm. And then as a man, like, you may be like, you're going to orgasm. Sorry. It's going to happen. One, some way, shape, or form. There will be an ejaculation that happens. But
Hopefully.
ideally, I mean, can you imagine? Sex
I mean,
without-
I've been there. Go on.
but like, for the rest of your life?
No, not for the rest of my life.
No, that's what I'm
Blue balls
saying.
for the rest of my life? No, thank you.
No, it'd be teal. But when you think of, like, I don't know, like that whole concept of, I don't know if it happens so much in the gay world. I don't think it does.
I don't think so either.
But I think in those cisgendered, religious or even non-religious, just like being brought up on the way that you should save yourself, I feel bad because it's like you're signing up for something that could be the worst thing in your life.
Yeah.
And it should be a release.
Yeah. I completely agree. Although I was going to go with buying a car, which I don't know why that I don't own a car or care. I don't know
But
why.
like jeans, doesn't it? Like, it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
I
like
guess-
jeans are very personal.
Yeah.
For some people, they're like, they don't try them on in the store. They try them at home.
They involve two holes.
Yeah, like, a button, flyer, zipper. There's lots of options.
Yeah, I mean, to answer my own question, I think that's the part of it that seems absurd to me is just this whole idea, and I hate to use that hackneyed term of like, why, what is it? Something about not test driving a car or whatever. But yeah, it's like, that doesn't make much sense to me in the context of 2018, where it's like, why would you want to commit to the rest of your life with someone if you don't know if you're sexually compatible or not?
Yeah, that's
unless
fair.
sexuality and sex is not a thing for the two people who are entering into
That's
that
fair.
relationship. But it's like the concept of just being like, yeah, you're cool, like we vibe like on all other levels, but like we're gonna wait to have sex until the night of. That is ridiculous, because if you're not sexually compatible, think of all of the downstream effects that's gonna have in your relationship, whether it be you getting a divorce or you cheating or like all of these things. So it's like, I'm like, come on, in 2018 we need to be test driving that car.
I love that you're saying you're relating it to like sexually compatible, and then I'm the guy over here like, it's like jeans. You should try them on. Oh, that's the dynamic of our relationship. You're welcome.
So also, why wouldn't you want to just like fuck.
And just have sex.
It's
Just
great.
have sex.
Just have sex. It's great.
It's just
I love your
sex.
angle.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, I think the idea that like even if you are sexually compatible, you have sex with them before, for sure, yep, we love it this way, we both are into it. But that doesn't guarantee that in the future it will continue to be that way. People discover new things about themselves, they learn more. So it's not that you have had sex with them and you can predict that you are always going to be sexually compatible. I think you also have to acknowledge that if we're getting married and we're saying forever, then if our interests change or we want to try something new, either I'm going to be willing to explore them with you, or you're going to be okay if I draw a line somewhere, or I'm going to let you go do that on your own. Like, I think the idea that can answer all your questions about your sexual future is giving it too much credit.
That's a good point too, because but being able to kind of give that test drive does allow you to first of all decide, okay, is this a thing? Like, do I like the car?
Yeah.
But then it also gives you the opportunity, to your point, to kind of know what your sexual parameters are.
Yeah.
And then you can have that conversation about, okay, so like if this changes, then what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people don't talk openly about those things. And I think that's super important.
Yeah.
There's a really powerful cultural construct that we have to talk about in this context, that women used to be property, right? They were married off to the man who here's 3 donkeys that is her dowry, and she better be a virgin, right? Like, there's high premium placed on that. So much so that there is hymen reconstruction surgery for girls who accidentally lose their hymen through a sports injury or some other cause, because in other cultures there's such a high premium placed on the virginity of the bride. Wow. And but all of that comes from, she was property. Right. So if you're saving yourself for marriage, just know that that's the historical context. You're saving yourself to be his property if you're the girl, and if you're the guy, you're just buying into that same narrative.
Yeah. For sure.
And then I also believe like the idea of virginity is closely related to slut shaming, and to like when you sit at the table, you're like, oh, I lost my virginity at 30, or I lost my virginity at 12 or 10. Like, I think your mind goes.
For some reason, when you said lost it sounded like you lost a coat.
I lost my coat.
I misplaced it.
But I misplaced my virginity. If you find it, please return to sender. But no, I think about like this idea of virginity and slut shaming is definitely, they're closely related, because when you meet someone, right, and they're like, oh, I'm still a virgin, or I lost my virginity at 12, your mind probably goes to, for some people, like, how many people have you been with? Oh gosh, you've been with 30 people, 10 people, 5 people, whatever it is. Then there's this idea that if you lose your virginity early, you potentially could be a slut. And then if you lose your virginity late, you're still kind of clean and pure, and you're slightly used, but not as used as the next.
But you know what? So that's interesting that you said that, because that brings me to what I was saying in the beginning of the pod, which was that there's an age-related stigma associated with virginity at both ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would agree with you that there is that stigma of, oh, if you've lost your virginity too young, like, there's all kinds of questions that linger in that particular space that have to do with, well, wait, like consent, and you know what I mean? Like all of these very gray areas, which I totally get that. Which
And we
is probably
assume that there's something wrong.
Exactly,
right?
which is probably one of the reasons why I haven't given the age, and I still won't. But
He was 7.
I was not 7, bitch. At the other end of the spectrum, I feel like there's still a stigma attached with that, where it's like, there's a sweet spot somewhere, who knows what it is, but then once you've gotten to a certain age, where if you haven't lost your virginity yet, or given you haven't bestowed, you haven't made your sexual debut. If you haven't made your sexual debut by a certain age, then people are still cocking their head and looking at you like, there's a movie called The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and there's a reason for that, because society looks at losing your virginity at too old an age almost the same way they look at as being too young.
It's like both times the question is, what's wrong with you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Jay, what did you want to talk about? Did you?
So I actually was Googling a lot about the idea of virginity and with gay men. And this article on goodmenproject.com, the headline was, when does a gay man lose his virginity? The answers are surprisingly personal. So it goes back to what I had said about the definition of sex and virginity. really it's hard and dry is how they explained it.
Hard and dry.
They said that it's one penis, one vagina, and one ejaculation. The dictionary does not mention clitoral stimulation.
It does not.
Scissoring, or even dry humping.
It does not.
Sex is not sex unless it's between two heterosexuals and there is a passage of genetic material. That's just like something Ray would say, and like not just like semen in the woman. Genetic material. Ta-ta.
That doesn't make sense though, because if you're wearing a condom, then that would mean that you're still a virgin. But go on.
You know, then there was this article was about obviously gay men and queer men. Obviously, we know, everyone at this table, we've discussed gay men, queer men.
I'm not out.
Have you're gay adjacent. We have lost sex, and if sex is about passing of genetic material, I would argue that having as mentioned earlier, sitting in the toilet and having an abortion, that's genetic material passing. Mm-hmm. So why would that not be considered sex? But it just was interesting to read. And there's some
you don't
videos.
know what swamp monster you've impregnated down the street when you flush.
Oh my God.
So it just was interesting that they'd asked a series of men about their experience and about what they like, whether it was anonymous hookups, which I feel like in the LGBTQ world, specifically in the gay world, that's probably more widely known and
might be more
conversations around it.
In fact, I demand it. Do not tell me your name.
But I think it definitely is. I think it definitely happens in all types of people, right? But I feel like in the gay world, it definitely is something top of mind and part of this dialogue that they had. And each of them had different things about when they had their sexual like experience with a gay man or with another man or with a woman, and what they felt like when they lost their virginity. Someone interviewed was saying, which we kind of touched upon, where they don't count having any sort of relationship with women because that was just something they were doing to fit in. Mm-hmm. Oh, and that when they truly lost their virginity and what they saw as their virginity was when they were with a man. Mm. The same person didn't have intercourse with a woman, but they did everything but. So that was it was an interesting article. It's on, like, as I mentioned, it's called goodmenproject.com. There's videos of the people. And I think we've kind of touched on a lot of what they've said through our experiences, but it was very interesting to hear from very different age groups, races, just backgrounds about what they felt virginity was. And some of it was related back to religion. Some was related to just their experience. So if you have a moment, be sure to watch the videos.
That's a really nice way to, like, we are four people. And I think it's so cool that y'all are on here and willing to talk about this, because we wanted, just Mike and I is always like, well, there are some stereotypes we can dispute, some we can't. We're both definitely some form of alcoholic, so we can't argue with that. Gay people are always drinking. They're just things. We're just two people. So I love having four perspectives on this, and that's really cool that you're bringing to the table another place to get even more perspectives.
Absolutely.
Because that's probably, like, the number of perspectives there are is probably the number of
and if
different
you surround
ways.
yourself by people that are like you, think like you, have had experiences like you're not growing as a person.
Yeah.
I say this in true honesty, it's just sex, and I think that there's a lot of weight put on the act that isn't necessarily needed. Like, I feel like growing up, it's impressed upon you that you should not have sex with everybody, and you should save yourself from marriage, and all these ideas that we've mentioned. But at the end of the day, it is like, you don't want to give it so much power that, like, if you have sex with 30 people, 2 people, or 1 person, it's just an act that you can choose whatever you want to do. Don't allow society to impress upon you the right thing to do. Air quotes. You hear them?
Yeah, so I'd have to disagree with you there. More specifically to the idea that sex is just sex. Because I think the idea that sex is just sex is you putting your idea of what sex is and saying that this is right and that you should not give it the power that that society has said that you should. I think for me personally, what I would say is that sex is what it is to you.
Yeah.
So for some people,
that's a better way to say it.
Right.
Clearly, I'm not good with words. You'll learn that.
But to some people, sex is, I could be on Grindr and I could hook up with this guy tonight, and we can fuck and we can suck and we can do all the things, and I'll get up tomorrow and do it again with someone else. Where there are other people who, and this is me, I don't judge the person who can do the Grindr thing, but I can't do the Grindr thing because for me, sex is tied up into a lot of emotional cues, and I think of it as being something that I want to do with someone who I have a deep connection or feelings with, and that's not everyone's story, and that's fine. I think that we just need to move into an era, and especially with the current climate nowadays in Washington DC, where we allow people to do what is good for them as long as they're not hurting other people.
Get your cherry popped as soon or as late as you like.
Or as late as you want. Maybe you don't feel like you're ready for sex at 20 or 25 or whatever the age is. It's like, do you?
But understand, an orgasm is a very important person to meet.
And orgasms are awesome. I mean,
I feel like,
just as an aside,
I feel like you described Mike and I, because like I think, Mike, you have to have more feelings than I do in sex, and I just want you to fuck me and choke me, and like I don't want you to stay and talk. Like I don't need that.
Let's just do it.
Like, hi, take off your shirt. Like,
and I don't know if it's PC to say, but I often say that I'm like a chick when it comes to sex. That I have to have
a connection,
feelings before I want to go there.
I got feelings about his dick, and I want it inside of me.
Which is so funny,
beautiful,
and it's funny because I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I'm more like you.
But that's so beautiful.
These two are more alike, and it's like there's a thread that's being weaved, and I see it totally. But I feel the same way. It's like the feelings.
But the beautiful thing about individual experience is it truly is your experience, right?
True. Yes.
You choose when you want your cherry popped.
True.
And whether it's with a woman, with a man, with yourself, with whomever, whatever. Well, not whatever. We don't want to condone anything outside of humans. Don't have sex with trees.
Live adult humans.
Yes.
I don't have sex with trees. Do they have feelings?
They might.
I'm just saying the bark is the problem, not the livelihood of.
Because like if you fuck with the root of a tree, it dies. So yeah, it has feelings.
It's gonna live. Okay.
It got real deep.
Just like it will with that tree.
Yeah.
Fuck a tree in the middle of the forest and no one hears it.
Did you really fuck a tree?
Did you really come?
Yeah. When in doubt, fuck it out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
With yourself?
Or with a partner.
But also there's so many toys these days that will stimulate some sort of orgasm for you. There's, what is it called? A pocket pussy?
Right. And then the question is, so then if you haven't had sex, but you've penetrated yourself with a dildo or you've used a quote unquote pocket pussy, are you a virgin?
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care.
If we have totally lifelike cyborgs in the future and they fuck you,
Yes.
they're not a person. Are you a virgin?
That feels like, hey, that feels like a TV show.
These are existential questions.
That feels like a really good TV. We're like brainstorming some really good HBO specials.
I
think I broke Kyle.
I had it all figured out. I knew that virginity is a progression, not a moment, and then you just ruined it at the very end. Jesus Christ, Gayish. We ruined it.
hilarious.
Hey, Mike, do you want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a break?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Say it.
I need to go.
Bio break.
No, say let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Yeah, right now.
Great.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're all back together.
Everyone's back. We're all in this.
We made it back to the table.
We are going to do our gays and straightest.
We're going to do our gayest and straightest. But first,
first-
he said, what do people need to know to find you?
Oh, this is amazing. I'll let Ray go because I love when he talks.
Yes. So it is He Said Pod. And you can find us on iTunes. He Said Pod. SoundCloud. Also He Said Pod. Oh, the interesting thing is we do have playlists on Spotify. Even though our pod isn't on Spotify,
Yeah.
we do have playlists because we love music and we talk music a lot. So at He Said Pod on Spotify, and you'll find our playlists. At He Said Pod on Twitter.
So if you haven't noticed, there is a trend. It's
There
He
is a
Said
trend.
Pod.
There really is a trend.
And before, what we love we love subscriptions. We love followers. We also love DMs. So slide through our DMs. But be respectful that we are married, okay? But it's fine. We love people to have opinions. So yeah, find us, listen to us,
Yes.
and make fun of us.
Yes, and thank you guys again for having us.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And
So much
you
fun.
forgot the most important thing, which is we're going to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that
The
is
most important thing is about me.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you the only child?
Yeah, no, I'm the youngest of two.
Makes
youngest.
sense.
Youngest makes
I'm
sense.
the oldest.
But I recently discovered all my feelings. So,
You had an awakening?
yep, an emotional awakening, which is a different
circle.
kind of virginity.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be on 2 Wednesdays from now on the 21st.
Yes, 21st. Yeah,
So-
live in full effect.
Yeah, so
Exciting.
check us out there.
We're going to get real gay. It's
Real
going to be
gay.
a moment.
It's going to be really good.
We're gonna force these two to talk pop culture.
Yeah.
We actually,
You'll find out just how little I know.
y'all said you don't normally talk sex.
Yeah.
We don't normally talk pop culture.
Look at that. Pushing us outside of our boxes. With full consent of, obviously.
Yes, always.
For us,
For us, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
all of our social media, including Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, is at Gayish Podcast.
We have a hotline. You can leave us voicemails or text messages. It's 585-5-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
And our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com. And we have been, since you put the request out there,
We got dick pics.
we're getting.
Oh my
we're
God.
getting- I have to explain to Jack.
Can't even deal with that.
I have to,
Oh, no.
I have to explain to my boyfriend Jack,
Yeah.
who's my boyfriend. I'm like, I know you're my boyfriend, and I know I'm looking at dick pics, but this is someone this is a listener, so I
love
have to
this.
look at his dick. Here it is, Jack. Do you look? Yeah, that's pretty good.
I love that.
It would be
That's hilarious.
disrespect if you didn't look at it.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Put all that work-
Unread messages are basically a slap in the face.
Yes. Yes.
A couple of programming notes. We will be at the Hawthorne Lounge in Portland, Oregon on November 10th. That's just coming up in a couple of days after this episode
Oh,
posts.
fuck.
You can go to pdxpodfestival.com/tickets. We will be on at 7:10 p.m. on Saturday, November 10th.
Hey, Mike.
The other thing, yeah.
Do you want to off pod? Do you want to talk about maybe plan that or figure out what we're gonna do or maybe?
I mean, worst case scenario, we'll drive and sleep in the Jeep and it'll be fine.
Okay.
And then we are already getting some 100th episode questions in.
Guys.
Love them. Some of them are fantastic. Please
my
continue
God.
to send those in. This is episode 92.
Yeah.
Nice.
And for
Goals.
our 100th episode, we are going to answer Q's with our A's. So send them in.
Let's do our gayest and straightest.
Let's do our gays and straightest.
Do either of y'all want to go first?
I guess this is Ray again. I guess I'll start.
Okay.
Oh, dear. This is the sound of drunk.
Bitch, comma. Don't
That
be
is
rude.
your comma.
Period. The gayest thing of the past week probably would be that Wicked special that was on.
Do you like Wicked?
Yeah.
I was
really?
confused.
I would not see you as a musical person.
I have seen Wicked 4 times.
I love.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong. I love Wicked. Wicked's great.
Once in New York, and Idina
my God,
Menzel
I love-
was
oh,
still playing.
really?
Wait, you saw Idina Menzel on Wicked?
That'd be amazing. She's an icon. Talk about an icon.
I'm so
That is
jealous.
one.
But they had a special on TV where they had people and Kristen Chenoweth did sing one or
So
two
did
songs,
Idina.
and Idina sang "Defying Gravity." I think she might have been
Yes.
sick. She didn't really defy gravity in her performance.
You're so shady.
But that definitely was the gayest thing of the past week, where I was just kind of like, this is interesting. I don't know. Was it a milestone year? I was confused
It
as
was
to
15
why.
years. It's been 15
Oh,
years.
okay,
since
there
it's
you
been
go.
on
15.
Broadway.
That makes me feel old.
Yes, we actually discussed that when we
15
were
years.
watching it because you were like, "How old is Idina Menzel? How old is Kristen?" And we had the whole conversation.
And
where
they're
you-
both actually
Kristen Chenoweth is 76 years old.
Yeah,
You're not far off. She's 50 something. She's like
Yeah.
52.
And
She
5 foot negative 3.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
And she
She's
does
so
not look
tiny.
that age at
She's so
all. She
tiny.
looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Bitsy
She
bitsy
sounded
spider.
great. But it was just kind of interesting to me because they had people. Lettucey is someone who we love. She's the soul singer, and her inclusion was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But she sounded really good. And she sang with Adam Lambert.
Yes.
And they sounded great together, but that was definitely my
It was
gayest thing
interesting.
of the week.
Okay.
My straightest thing, I think I'm going to have to go back further, and I'm going to have to inject a little bit of politics into this.
Yeah.
And I'm going
So
to
is
say
politics straight?
and I'm going to say that the straightest thing of the past year that has happened has been Mr. It's going to have to be
Okay.
the Supreme Court nomination and then actual approval that happened, which is
Okay.
not cool. But that's the straightest thing that's happened for me in the past year, which for sure would be all that privilege, white privilege, straight privilege, all of it. Kavanaugh being actually confirmed to the Supreme Court. It's scary for me, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah. That's a good
It's
one.
It's like a ghost story.
Yeah.
Struggle. So my
Jay?
gayest thing is waking up every day.
True story. True story.
I wake up every day and I'm a homosexual.
No one has said that, and I love it so much.
That is the gayest thing I've ever done. The straightest thing I've ever done, I would say, there are some weekends where we don't have anything planned and I don't shower for the day.
Yeah. You're like, we might be on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
To me,
Like if I'm not having intercourse, fuck that.
anything gross is automatically straight, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Because it's all about
Dusty
this,
dick.
and that's who's Dusty.
The dick.
He's on my list. No, like that's funny because like that's the stereotype is gay people are
That
supposed to be
is a
so
stereotype.
clean
Yeah,
and
virgins.
organized and that's not
Full
the
circle.
But
no,
we're
full
not.
circle is not virgin.
We're pure. We're clean.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're unused.
That is hilarious. Not showering.
So that's my gayest and straightest.
Is my gayest thing just being so turned on by the word unused? No. Opposite. Used. Or I don't know which one. One of those words gets me very aroused. That'll be my. I just want to be. Oh. Well, no,
It's
I don't
probably
wanna,
used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away my happy ending that's going to be on your show.
Yeah, happy endings. Love happy endings.
Okay, maybe I'm going to change my happy ending because I want to say like I maybe my gayest thing is like I made a group of a gaggle of gays rewatch or I rewatched Ali Wong Baby Cobra.
So great.
So good.
Baby
and
Cobra.
oh my god, stand-up special by woman that is 7.5 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
And she's Asian, talks about that a lot, talks about like it's so funny. Anyway, one of my favorite lines of hers, talking about liking being like abused and like,
Oh my.
and while she's getting fucked, and she said, about choking, she's like, I don't want to die, but I don't want to know that I'm gonna live.
Oh shit.
That's my gayest thing. My straightest thing is that I don't know. I feel very guilty about this. I told Jack my parents the biggest problem they're going to have with him is he has a really gay voice. And it's
You
not
told him that?
yeah.
There's a documentary about that.
Yeah. Do I sound gay?
Do I sound gay?
Have y'all watched that?
Yes.
I
did.
watched part of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I watched part of it.
It was fabulous. No,
You're
No, you
shaming
sh-
me right now.
No, you should watch it.
You're part of the problem,
interesting.
Jay.
It's actually very interesting. I'm ignoring him.
Okay.
That's the key to successful relationship is ignoring the other
No,
person.
selective hearing. It's not full ignorance, bitch.
I would say ignoring. I'd argue that it's ignoring. But it's
selective.
actually an interesting documentary about they interview gay and straight men that have either deep voices or high-pitched voices
Right.
or femme
or
voices.
effeminate voices, right?
And they're on both ends of the spectrum, whether it's a high-pitched voice and he's straight or a low voice and a masculine.
It doesn't mean low, though, because your voice is not high-pitched, but I would argue that your voice is gay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks. I would say it's gay-ish.
No judgment. No judgment.
I love it. I was not placing any judgment on it. It's just I know that's going to happen. I know that's they're gonna be their immediate reaction. I know they're gonna love him and see how happy he makes me.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Mike,
Yes.
So the straightest thing about me this week, Kyle and I'm not sure when it's going to drop, but we rewrote the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody.
I saw this on was this on your Insta story?
Yeah. But we did the whole song and we've recorded it. I'm in the process of editing it. I'm not sure if we're gonna actually release it or not.
out by now or not.
Oh yeah. But when we were recording it, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. Every single time that it gets to the bridge and it's the instrumental and it's like the big solo on the guitar, like just all the air drumming, so much air drumming to that song, and some air drumming, air guitar, and air drumming. Those are
very straight.
yeah, right. The other thing, the gayest thing about me this week. So I'm turning 40.
Cheers
and,
to that.
If anybody is interested,
In fucking.
Kyle and I and a whole shitload of my friends, gay and straight, are going to be in Wendover, Nevada.
Wendover.
It's about 90 miles
almost
west
like
of Salt Lake
bending
City.
over.
It's like, bend over. Yes. My dad calls it bend over because he thinks it's funny that when they take your money that you're getting fucked. I think it's called bend over because I want some dick. So we're going to have 2 theme nights while I'm there. One of them is just we're going to dress formal and go have steak dinner because that's what I want to do because it's a gambling environment.
When in doubt, eat meat.
But the other one, everyone has to come dressed as 1978.
That's-
And the gayest thing about me this week is my shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my
these
god, I
shoes.
love that. What pants are you wearing?
Ziggy Stardust
Oh my God,
pumps.
pants also to match. Oh, we should describe. So the shoes. Well, who wants to describe?
I would say
Jay?
they're an Oxford lace up with
a platform
and
and a chunky
I would say a
heel.
2-inch platform, a 4-inch
Yes.
heel.
Yes.
It has stars. It's very
Yes.
Bowie-esque. So I would say 1978 will be all over your feet.
Glitter covering the front half. The pants, aren't they like bell bottoms and glitter?
Yeah, I'll show you the pants. That's fine. Yeah.
That's the year before I was born, which makes sense because that's the year you were born.
Matt, we did it.
Quick preview.
Excel.
My gayest thing next week is going to be your description of my shoes. Those are my pants.
Oh, this is perfection. Fitted through the, just so everyone's listening, I'm giving you a visual. They're fitted through the thigh with a slight kick out at the knee, which will showcase the stars on his instep.
Wait, but what's going on in the waist?
That is,
black
it's
part.
going to be a pull. It looks like it might be a pull on with maybe, so it'll be easy for him to whip his dick out for you to have moments.
Boy, is it hugging that ass.
Is it here or is it not?
No, it's more of like a higher rise.
High rise, but not
Yeah,
here.
it's not
Okay.
high. It's men's high rise is
Yeah.
about. It's going to be a rise at the I would say, what is it? I would say-
Navel?
just reference AG's fit. That's what it looks like.
So
AG's the brand.
Okay, I didn't understand what you. Okay.
Dad fit. Dad fit with a little homosexual sugar on top.
if this encourages people to come to my birthday in Wendover, Nevada at the end of the month, my mom is going to be there, and she's
So basically, anyone that sees him in his pants, they're going to tell him to bend over and wend over.
But yeah, Ma from Momsplaining
Yes.
will be there. She will
Oh my God, I
momsplain.
love your mom.
She will momsplain all day to you if you want it.
So I tried these on because they came the other day.
Uh-huh.
My roommate said, "Your mom's gonna see your dick."
But now I'm intrigued. What's the top? Is it like
God.
flouncy and like a little like
Justin.
moment? Is there gonna be like taco meat coming out? Like what's happening?
I'm
That's what I call-
I'm not totally sold on it because of the way it fits, but that's the top.
Oh, that's a moment though. But you should wear like with your chest showing a little
So
bit.
that's the problem. I unbutton it down like 3 buttons,
Yeah.
and it's still, because of the way that it's cut, doesn't open.
Oh, you could steam it.
I
Or
think
like,
that's
ooh.
fine if
yeah,
you
or like iron it, press iron it a little. Or
I
even
love
if
the
it's just, like-
coordination with the shoes.
Yeah,
and the
even if
pants.
you just like open it up in the pictures and like hold it open, it could be definitely
I
a
don't
moment.
think it needs to be like wide open. I think it could be unbuttoned and that's
just open enough.
Oh yeah, are you
so
wearing
that
a
we can
wig or
see.
anything, or just this
These
is just you?
sunglasses. I should wear a wig because
You should wear a
somebody's
wig.
hair was super long.
Yeah, no,
You
yeah,
should
your
do
hair
a
is not
wig.
appropriate.
If
for
you're gonna
78.
commit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe a
wear like,
porn stash.
but then also, are you gonna wear like obviously those pants are not very forgiving. Like you're gonna have to not wear underwear or wear a jock strap.
Yep, jockstrap all the way.
Okay, so I think that should be glitter as well.
Yeah. Do I have a glitter jock strap? I don't.
You can
but
find
there's
one.
time.
I'm sure Amazon
have
has.
time.
Amazon
I mean,
Prime can save my
Can you
ass.
imagine? I
Or
wonder
if anyone wants to give Mike a gift, now you know.
He'll prime the address. There'll be a locker somewhere in Seattle that you can drop it off at.
Oh, true. We need to wrap this bitch
Yeah,
up.
that's it. This has been Gayish. A special thank you, as always, to Charlie Finn for the use of our theme music.
And thank you to Ray and Jay for being here. We really
thank you for
appreciate it.
having us. Of
Check out
course.
the
This was so much fun.
He Said podcast.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Johnny Bravo for all of
Just causing all of my, what is it, genetic material to just flow through my body.
And I want to. We should also thank the washing machine for all the rags, socks, and everything else that we experienced.
We don't give it credit for all the work it does. You're right.
Yeah, socks.
Jesus Christ.
I remember
yeah.
those days.
God.
Yesterday. It was so long ago.
This has been Gayish. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week.
See you next week
Goodbye.
in Portland.
Back it
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
and hear me as I will sing. Hey, and by the way, do you hear what your words bring? Oh, P.S. I'm